Hi guys, so today I'm gonna go over a few articles relating to immigration, especially ICE agents deporting people who are either citizens or they got the wrong person, but they still deport them anyway. Also, another assassination attempt that someone made towards Trump. I'll go more in details about that soon, and more situation about RFK Jr. Uh, trying to claim there's a rising issue with autism. And keep in mind, it's just that scientists are keeping data of it. They're just collecting data and actually demonstrating how many people are neurodivergent. It's not a crisis, but I'll go over the whole BS RFK Jr. is talking about. And a judge found probable cause to potentially put Trump's administration in contempt. We'll see if that goes anywhere. But first thing first, this is an article from Newsweek from April 15, 2025. ICE agents realized they arrested wrong thing, so the wrong teenager. Say take him anyway. Let me see this video. Sorry, I'll go back. Facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. And I said it to them. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also the irony of Trump saying they always have to obey the law, but they not listen to U.S. Supreme Court, who 9-0 told them to bring back Garcia, who they just deported to El Salvador to a prison there, and he's probably dead by now. The irony. And keep in mind, Trump is a convicted felon. He has over 34, I think it's 34, 35 uh, charges of felony that he was found guilty of. Criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that scheme. Yeah, so this whole situation is a mess because they're not really properly providing due process for people. They're just going after anyone. If there's any allegation with no evidence, oh, you're part of the MS-13, deport you. We don't care if you're a citizen. That's the issue. This is why we had due process, and the fact that Trump's administration, like his staff, has basically been doing all this crap and nothing is stopping them, demonstrate that there's really no checks and balances. The executive branch can do whatever they want, and that's a problem. Technically, yes, Congress could stop him by impeaching him and impeaching his entire administration, but they're not doing anything, which is a big issue. So federal immigration authorities apprehended a 19-year-old in New York despite realizing he was not the intended target. They've been doing that a lot lately, especially in blue states. They're going to places like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, among others, and going to the busy areas to go just arrest anybody or detain them if they don't want to claim an arrest. The young man, Manuel Guterres, was later deported to El Salvador's notorious super prison, despite the family's insistence that he has no gang ties or criminal history. Yeah, they're going after a lot of these people who just look Hispanic, whoever is not white enough or white pass enough. They racially profiling these people and arresting them and deporting them to super prison El Salvador, where they will basically die. Unlikely that they will survive in those conditions. And El Salvador's president has been loving this. He basically loves to have additional slaves. That's what they really are. And El Salvador is pretty sad. The president there just is loving this whole crap. Instead of doing something about it and tell Trump that hey, they should have due process before you do anything. That's a bare minimum situation. That's all you have to do is do the bare minimum. Figure out if it really is the right person, if they really commit a crime, and then go from there. Just provide due process. Prove that you're actually doing the right thing. And Trump has been trying to be the president that would deport the most people in American history, but the way he's doing it is a big issue. He's not doing it in a way that makes sense. And that's what a lot of people complain about. And yeah, he's been basically going after thousands and thousands of people without really double checking to make sure they're doing the right thing. And the thing is that this person, guitarist, was in an asylum case, so he was basically a refugee. These are not people who are criminal masterminds or organizing gang activities. These are people escaping poverty, violence from the country of origin and trying to have a better life in the U.S. That's what they're doing. But throwing them back in a lot of times a different country just because they have super prison in El Salvador and just claim that's a-okay, it's a big issue. I just want to keep scrolling down so I guys can read more in detail. So Guterres' legal team is calling for immediate diplomatic intervention to secure his release and safe return. Hopefully, but I don't see that happening. It's an unfortunate situation. So this article from USA Today is DOJ charged Pennsylvania man for posting YouTube threats to kill Trump. So this from April 11, 2025. This is just a video that talks about the recount that Trump recounts his assassination attempt at Pennsylvania rally. So just something he was talking about that definitely helping get elected because they really push a lot of the MAGA supporters to really go hard and try to vote as much as they can. Unfortunately, 89 million people still didn't vote, and that really helped out a lot. And now they're just making not now, but they're making it even harder to vote every nationwide. Nationwide, multiple states are making it harder and harder to vote. With Trump winning, they basically got away with it. They trying to resuppress as many voters as they can because they know that in terms of legal way to vote, if they make it difficult for you to vote, we have to have a passport or some type of legal ID that demonstrate that you're a citizen. A lot of people are not gonna even decide to vote. Not a lot of people have the money to buy a passport book and card. It's an expensive process, not free. And arguably that should be illegal. You shouldn't be forced to have a passport book or slash card if it's not free. Because if you're gonna require that for people to have to prove citizenship, it should be free then. Or at least extremely cheap. It should be less than $20 to own both of them. At least something like that. Otherwise, you are disenfranchising a lot of people. And it's been an issue like this for a while because this is not the first attempt by Republicans to suppress votes, but it's been going on for a while. But anyway, so the man is Sean Mompe, 32 from Pennsylvania. Again, he posted YouTube threats that he would try to assassinate Trump. Another thing he also done that this article was talking about is that he's also declared that ICE a terrorist and that he will also shoot any ICE agent that he sees. I can understand the perspective that ICE agents are terrorists, domestic terrorists, because they're basically doing what Nazi Germany did back in the 1930s, right? This is something that Nazis have done, that Hitler has done. And nope, it just arrest anyone they assume via racial profile, so racially profiling people that somebody did something wrong and putting them in camps, concentration camps. It's a big issue. This is a very Nazi type of behavior to do, and the way that Trump could prove the opposite is by providing due process, doing the legal way of things, not the Trump way of things. And it's being a big issue. And this is what happens when you keep accumulating a lot of illegal actions. A lot of people are gonna feel like, okay, if Trump can do this, I can. I don't like ICE agents, and I'm just gonna shoot them. They're domestic terrorists to me. I had the legal right to do it. I don't like Trump. He doesn't. Trump doesn't like all the people. He just deport them and send them to a super prison where they will die. Then I had the right to do this with Trump. It's something that it's gonna happen when you do these things. When you're not following the law, you're gonna make a lot of people feel like they don't have to follow the law either. If the president doesn't, why should I? It's hard to disagree with them because the president of the country represents the nation, right? He she or they demonstrate what the nation's about. So when you don't follow your own nation's laws, you basically tell your people, your constituents that hey, you don't have to follow the law since I don't. You can do whatever you want. It's a bad message. I don't think this will get through Trump and the rest of his administration. They will keep doing whatever they want to do, but this will keep agitating a lot of people. People who are pissed off at him and ICE, DOJ, maybe Congress members who are Republican or not. You're gonna create a lot of these people who are really pissed off, and you're not demonstrating to them that you're doing the right thing. You're not following the law. Basic actions like due process should be automatic. That should be the norm. And Trump is not following that. Allowing Musk using doge to go through a bunch of sensitive data of American citizens and residents is also a huge issue with Social Security administration. That's a big problem. With telling Social Security administration, hey, you're gonna have to use Twitter, aka X, to be able to communicate with Social Security now. That's extremely egregious, and it goes against proper security process. Why would you use X, a private company, which is not a very secure website, to be able to communicate with Social Security administration? Why are you forcing people to use that? A lot of the elderly are not going to be able to use X properly, and that's not very secure for very sensitive data information, literally containing the Social Security numbers. This is going to be a huge issue. So I can't understand why extreme stuff like that, you end up having people like this who piss off, and they're going to be doing a lot of things. They're not happy. Trump needs to remember that you're going to have a lot more dispute because you allowed them to exist. You're allowing yourself to not follow the law, so you're telling them that it's okay for them to do. This is not going to be the first time it happens. It's going to continue to happen. And it's a big issue. Another article from AP News talks about how Trump administration plans to end the IRS direct file program for free tax filing. This is from April 17, 2025, so yesterday. Again, this is going to piss off a bunch of people, just like the other one. This is going to really anger a lot of people. Why would you cancel a whole program from IRS that makes it easier for many low-income households to be able to file their taxes for free? Why would you do that? Why force them to use TurboTax or another company or an accountant and spend $100 plus for something they could do for free? It doesn't make sense. This is not good. There's no reason to make people have to pay for taxes. So this whole article is just discussing how the program now is in limbo because Trump is trying to cut it off, and they try to claim it's all for to make the government more efficient. But in the end, this does not make the government more efficient. Just going to force people to have to pay to file the taxes when they literally don't have the money to do so, and they should be eligible to do it for free. This whole program just make it the process actually more efficient to do your taxes for free. So yes, we have companies that allow you to do tax for free depending on your income, but this direct filing for IRS itself is pretty simple. It makes it easier for people to figure out how to file their taxes for free. It's a good thing. It's efficient. But we know that Doge is not about making the government efficient. It's to privatize everything so the rich and the wealthy become even wealthier, so they have more money, and that the poor working class middle class people keep staying where they are, basically erasing the middle class, and it's gonna be really just working class, well, pretty poor working class at best, and then the rich, maybe upper class, obviously, but mainly that's how it's gonna be. This is not a good idea. This is gonna anger more and more people, and when people have nothing else to lose because they have nothing, they gonna do what they think is best for themselves and their family, and whatever that action will be, it won't be a huge surprise. So I'm just scrolling down, so you guys can pause, read. Everything's gonna be in my description, also as per usual. Yeah, so the IRS has faced intense blowback to the rat file from private tax preparation companies that have made billions from charging people to use the software and has spent millions lobbying Congress. Well, you can go screw yourself because this program is a good thing. This means that the right file program was working extremely well because it was pissing off these private sector companies that only care about profit. They're not there for your favor. They're not helping you. They just want to make money out of you. So the IRS did the right thing. And taking out this program demonstrated that Trump does not care for low income households, does not care for the middle class, so middle income households. He only cares about the rich and the wealthy, specifically himself the most. So the average American typically spends about $140 preparing returns each year, even when they don't have to. So this was a good thing. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, is being proponent of building out direct file because it will make things easier. And She just disagrees with them getting rid of that. It's just because a lot of those tax companies just want to keep paying to file for taxes. Ridiculous. So this is an article from April 16, 2025 from Axios, whatever you pronounce that, or Axios. El Salvador denies Senator visit with erroneously deported men. That's Garcia. So the senator is Chris Van Hollen. Um, he tried to go to El Salvador to see if he can talk to Garcia, see if it's okay, and potentially bring him back. Because literally, your Supreme Court said he needs to be brought back. That technically, Trump administration is supposed to facilitate the process of bringing back Garcia. So this is a big issue. This has been going on for a while. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't know if he's alive. Um, and they literally prevented him from even talking to him. So Santa, I think there's another updated information from 23 hours ago, so like a day ago. Santa again denied entry to El Salvador prison to visit mistakenly deported man. Let me see if there's any more updates. I'm just scrolling down to see if there's more updates about this. Santa meets with Maryland man being held at El Salvador prison. Okay, good. So I like the more updated information. So Kilmar Armando Ábrego García and Santa Chris Holland photo. So this is them together. So that's nice. I'm happy to know that he's still alive. Santa Cruz Van Hollen met with Garcia, a Maryland resident who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Unfortunately, we already know this. Per social media post by the country's president and a Democrat. So Van Hollen said he was twice denied requests to visit Garcia at the high security Salvadoran prison for terrorists, and he's not a terrorist, with the legal U.S. residents being held as the Trump administration invades court's order to facilitate his release. Despite considering that he conceding that he was deported in an administrative error. Yeah, we know that they admitted to deport him incorrectly. So that's good. That's at least good news. We'll see how things go regarding that. So this is an article from Stats News talking about how RFK Jr. calls rising autism rate an epidemic. Researchers call it a good sign. It's not an epidemic. It just means that we have better technology and we're able to better collect data on how many people are autistic, neurodivergent, and that's a good thing. It's not an epidemic. Epidemic is the whole measles situation because of RFK Jr. telling people not to take the measles vaccine and making it hard for people to obtain it. Even though he himself has a vaccine, he took the measles vaccine and his family did, so it makes no sense. It's really stupid. The article is from April 15, 2025. So new federal reports suggest that U.S. autism rates are rising modestly and increase the health researchers have reflected expanded diagnostic tools and access to care, among other factors. But Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., instead has pointed to the data as evidence of a growing crisis. He's a moron. So don't listen to him. He's a crack and he's not a doctor, doesn't have any medical background. He doesn't really care. He's just there for the rich and the wealthy. The crisis we have is fascism growing in the US dramatically, measles outbreak that shouldn't even exist. And now he's also trying to use funding to do additional pointless research to connect vaccines to the reason why people end up getting or end up becoming autistic. You cannot become neurodivergent or autistic due to taking vaccines. Vaccines do not cause autism. It is a lie that many right wingers have been stating for decades. It's incorrect. There are tons of research proving the opposite, that vaccines have nothing to do with autism. It has a lot to do with the health of parents, especially the fathers. And depending on the health of a sperm, it could actually increase the chances of a kid being neurodivergent. In particular, the older the man, the more likely that a child would be autistic, as the quality of the sperm cells are degrading over time. So in the end, it's more the fault of the father and nothing to do with vaccines. There's a little, more biological information behind what can increase the chances of a child being neurodivergent. It's not vaccines. You don't die autism, you live as an autistic person. Yeah, his rhetoric is just wrong. And it's not an epidemic. Being a neurodivergent or autistic is not a bad thing. It's not a disease. He's just claiming that it's an epidemic because he's an asshole. Simple as that. That is basically the article. Last one will be from CNN.com. This is from April 16, 2025. Talks about how Buzzbug, I think that's how you pronounce it, finds probable cause exists to hold Trump administration in contempt for violating orders on deportation fights. Yeah, which is accurate. I don't disagree with any of that. So, U.S. District Judge James ruled Wednesday that probable cause exists to hold Trump administration officials criminal attempt, so not civil but criminal attempt, for violating his orders in mid-March, halting the use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members. Remember that a lot of these allegations, they don't have evidence. Garcia was a case like that, but it has zero evidence against him. And Trump has ignored the US Supreme Court 100%, hasn't done crap. So let's see what will be the next steps. Unlike the next steps in the contempt proceedings, since it's not proving yet beyond a reasonable doubt that the administration committed a criminal attempt. Don't expect anything to happen. Yes, it's a good idea, but in my opinion, it's been proven without reasonable doubt that they committed criminal contempt, and they're also conducting the next steps for full-on fascism in the country. Ignoring U.S. Supreme Court demonstrates that they want to be Nazi Germany at this point. And in particular, people who are endangered are going to be, unfortunately, anyone who doesn't look white. And that's usually the case. But anyway, that's the news for today. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about everything I discussed. Whether you agree, disagree with. If you have more detailed explanation on the court decision, if you think it's a criminal contempt or not, or Trump administration for not listening to the judge, let me know in the comment sections below. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. If you're watching this TikTok, follow us on TikTok. And I hope everyone has. Hi guys, so today